So the Neolithic period ran from about 6,000 years ago, so we're talking about 4,300 BC, down to about 2000 BC. So we're sort of approaching a time that might be a little bit more familiar to you historically. And the landscape again changes enormously during the Neolithic period. And this is the period where hunter-gatherers are really on the way out. While people are still only settling in a temporary fashion in the landscape, we are getting more permanent interventions into the landscape of Somerset in this time. And there are areas of Exmoor where you can still see Neolithic field boundaries in existence today. We also get the introduction of domesticated livestock and also cereal crops in this county for the first time. One of the key sites in Neolithic Somerset is the Sweet Track. Now this runs from West Hay through to Shapwick in the Levels. And it's a really, really important intervention. It's the oldest track type of its kind known in the UK. And basically, it's a wooden track that runs through the marshland in an area that was really difficult to traverse. And it's one of the most brilliant sites in Somerset because we have wood surviving waterlogged in the ground. Some of it's now at the British Museum, but we also have an absolute abundance of other material types as well. So we have a mattock, we have pottery, we've got a couple of toys, we've got some food evidence, and in the surrounding areas we know that they are starting to manage the land. Two other sites of interest in the Neolithic period from a domestic perspective are Cadbury Castle and the Chew Park area, where we have evidence of domestic occupation. So at Cadbury Castle we have numerous pits that were filled with pottery and bone and tools and lithic implements, and at Chew Park we have one of the only confirmed post-hole based houses in the southwest. I think there are only 8 known, and this is one of them. One of the key things about Neolithic Somerset is that for the first time we start to see monumentalisation of the landscape. We get these really big ceremonial areas being constructed, and there are 2 really key areas, to be honest. Stanton Drew, which you may already know about, which is a huge stone circle, which, similar to Stonehenge, has these stone avenues that lead from the circle down to the floodplain. And we also have something known as the Priddy Circles. So Priddy is an area in Mendip which is really, really active during the Neolithic and the early Bronze Age periods. And the Priddy Circles are 4 absolutely enormous earthworks that have been considered to be kind of proto-henge monuments. We don't really know what these are for, but they are ceremonial and they are really noticeable.
We're moving on through the Stone Age now, and we're in the Neolithic, or the New Stone Age, and it's a really different time period from the Paleolithic. We're moving well away from any kind of idea of Flintstones type lifestyles, and you can see this in the artefacts as well. And this is sort of the very latest thing in Neolithic stone tools. This is a polished axe head, and you can really see the vast amount of work that's gone into this. So this is flint, but flint as you've never seen it before. And what we have here are these tranché arrowheads. And tranché is a French term. It's just like a slice, so a slice arrowhead. And if you look at the shape of it, you can kind of see why it might be called that. And they're sort of triangular shape, and they'd be applied using a tar made out of birch bark or possibly boiled bone to make a sticky glue as well to attach them to the arrowhead. And then, even more beautiful again, we have these leaf-shaped points, which are absolutely beautiful little artefacts and characteristic of the Neolithic. And you can see again why they're called leaf-shaped points, because they're this lovely distinctive shape here. And these would do a lot of damage and could be made fairly easily once you'd mastered the technique. So we have a really interesting selection of stone tools from the Neolithic. But what's so exciting about working in Somerset is we also have organic materials, so things that are made out of materials that would normally rot away, that we don't see in the archaeological record. And one of the most spectacular finds from the Sweet Track that we've talked about just now is this. And this is a toy, we think, axe head, and it's made of wood. The wet conditions have preserved the wood beautifully, so an object we wouldn't normally see, we now can. We also have other wooden artefacts like this, and this is made of yew, and yew is a really special wood to use because it's really flexible, but it's also incredibly strong, and this has been used to make a pin, which might have been used for adornment or decoration, or just to hold something closed. We also have remains of the sort of things that people were eating. So for a long time, people are relying on hunter and gathering techniques, and they're still using those to an extent. So we've got a selection of preserved hazelnuts here, again from the Sweet Track. We also have pottery for the very first time in the archaeological record. And this is an exceptional vessel, again from the Sweet Track. We do not get a lot of pottery from this period, and the fact that this has survived is really exceptional. But a special study that took place was able to analyse materials from the inside, little trace elements. This pot once contained milk or butter, something with dairy fat in it, and it's direct evidence for agriculture and domestication in Somerset in the Neolithic period.